Hi, Natalie. First off, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what school you went to, and how you became an occupational therapist?
Okay, well, I did my undergraduate work at UC Irvine, and I majored in biology and anthropology. I discovered OT on accident, which is pretty typical. A friend of mine, she was going to apply to graduate school. It sounded more interesting to me than physical therapy or pharmacy, which were some other things I was looking at. So I put in my application to USC, did my master's work there, and then later on I went back to Rocky Mountain University and got my doctorate.
Oh, awesome. What does your job consist of daily? Is Prospect Elementary the only school you visit?
No, I have, I think, about 10 schools this year. So pretty much from day to day, going to 1 to 2, sometimes 3 school sites. And that's everything from preschool through high school, and occasionally transition students too.
What age group? Oh, you work with that age group. Do programs change based on the age of the children?
What kind of programs exactly are you referring to?
Like, what would you do with the children? You're playing with them outside, right? Or
Occasionally.
Okay.
Usually in the school setting, what we're trying to do is help them access their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the students are working on more academic type tasks. Some of the children I am outside on the playground with, working on their ability to access the playground. I also work in our sensory clinic over at the McPherson campus, which has a variety of swings, suspended equipment, a lot of climbing and crashing for the children. So that's a completely different type of setting.
Yeah, and that would be for younger children?
Usually we want to get them before the age of 9 while they still have a lot of neuroplasticity in play. And ideally we want to get those children in between, say, 3 to maybe 7 years old, where we can get the most change to occur for them.
Right.
Once they get a little bit older, we're not really going to get as much of that change in the nervous system as we would like.
Right. How does participating in physical activity at a young age helpful for the students now and in the future?
I think that engaging in physical activity across the lifespan is important for the children. I think that if one of the things that the teachers very much want is for students to be able to sit down, pay attention, and to complete work. I think that if they have access to gross motor play at recess, at PE, they're going to be more ready and available to learn. They're going to be more focused, less squirming, and I think that it really improves their concentration if they have access to physical play, really good physical play too. Sometimes what I notice that in this modern world, they don't want the children to really play at recess. It's dangerous. Don't run on the blacktop, which is bizarre to me. Children fall down, but we don't want them to fall down. Often tag is banned. It's violent play, which is, again, is very bizarre to me. They removed over the decades all of the spinning merry-go-round type things that they used to have, and they used to have these things, I don't know what they're called, but it's almost like loaded on a spring and there's a seat and the children would go back and forth and get a lot of vestibular input, things they need, which unfortunately they don't really have so much anymore. But I think that you would get better results if you have more physical activity and less structured, letting the children structure their own games. I think that helps.
So you allow them to be more creative? The programs that you have aren't as structured?
What we do is we try to facilitate play if that's what we're working on with a particular student. We might grossly set something up and guide the play, but the more the child is fully participating, we're going to see better play skills develop. We're going to see better mental skills, better cognitive skills developing. The more engaged the child is, the more he's going to get out of it. Boring repetitions of an exercise are not very effective.
Right. That makes sense. Are the children working together?
Ideally, I prefer to have the children working together in groups. I think that they actually get more progress than if they're working individually most of the time. The children will engage with one another, whether they're working on just general motor skills or even if they're working on something very specific like improving their writing. The children will guide each other. They will give them cues on how they're supposed to do it. They'll help each other edit their work, and they really get more engaged, and they also model for each other how to do it. And I think that it's more engaging for them than just adult-child interaction.
Yeah, that makes, yeah. Is it difficult to keep them motivated?
Well, frequently they're working on things that they don't particularly want to do. One of the things often that children really hate is working on their writing. It's a very challenging motor task. It's a very challenging cognitive task. And so you have to break it up between letting them do something fun and then letting them work on the more difficult aspects, but always making sure that they're going to be successful. If it's too difficult, if you're not grading the activity to their level, they're going to get frustrated, they're going to get angry, and they won't want to participate actively. So it's very important to keep them motivated by making it the just right challenge so that they can be successful and the activity is brief. And that seems to work out best.
Yeah. Do you ever work with disabled children?
Well, pretty much all of the children who we would be assigned to in a school setting are going to have some type of a disability. Under the IDEA, they have to have a qualifying condition. So it'll often be a speech and language impairment, it could be autism, ADHD, a variety of things, but they all have issues that we're working on.
All right, and your programs will conform based on their needs, or?
It's not so much that we have like a program, because therapy is it's the therapist and the child, so everything is individual. And what one has to do is find out what that child needs to succeed at school and then develop a strategy, a treatment plan so that he can succeed. So part of that's going to be the therapy that you deliver to that child. Also, it's going to be setting up the classroom, so collaborating with the staff so that the child can be successful in the classroom.
Okay. You were talking a little bit about skills, like writing skills. Are there different developing motor skills and motor control sessions that you work on?
Could you explain exactly what you mean a little bit more?
Yeah. Are there specific motor skills, like, or of course the writing is one, that you would work on with the children?
Oh, so what we need to do is look at what are the demands in a particular classroom. For example, I just left kindergarten, and a great many of the students there are working on very basic pre-writing skills, so they need to learn how to grasp a crayon or a pencil in a nice, mature manner. And we need to develop movement from the digits versus from the whole arm. They also need to work on things like cutting, pasting, just being able to put a cut piece of paper onto the paper they're working on instead of hanging off, because they don't have a really good sense of where they are in space.
Right.
So it's really going to depend on what grade level a child is in and what the demands of the classroom are.
Okay. Are there, how do you stay updated? Are there different occupational therapist meetings or new discoveries?
We have monthly meetings. Those are a little bit difficult to get to often because we're at meetings usually for IEPs, so I think I've missed every one this year. It would be nice if we could get to those and discuss new ideas. That would be ideal, but we don't. So mostly, I feel like I'm working alone, so I'm not really getting a lot of feedback from my peers, but I think the most important thing to do is to stay abreast of the current research. So usually what one wants to do is maybe like a PO or a PICO question. So you're going to determine, well, who is the person, what type of intervention, and then you want to do comparison searches of the relevant data and find out which has the most evidence to support the treatment plans you're doing. What you do not want to do is say, well, this is what I learned in school a million years ago, and this is what everybody else is doing, or this is what somebody told me one time. That's not effective, and that's not what the clients deserve. The clients deserve evidence-based treatments. So it's very important to stay abreast of the research.
Of course, yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Sure.
allowing me to conduct this interview with you. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good